Let's do a quick comparative analysis of four players when we talk about startup LLC, business loan, soft pull, fat amounts. And this is really important because you want to have a startup LLC business loan that has no hard pull, at least initially, right? So you can preserve your personal FICO score. So we have four players that I want to review into this conversation. I have Finance Factory, I have Become, I have On Deck, and I have Seek Business Capital. Here is a review for you. Let me start with Finance Factory. So when you think about Finance Factory, you are thinking about a startup LLC business lender that actually is very generous. Very generous. You're looking at $5,000 to $350,000 in terms of loan amounts. Fantastic. Loan terms are also very generous. You're looking at 0 to 7 years. And interest rates go from 0%, not 0%, 0.5% to 15%. And the fees, you have 4.5% fees to 9.9 fees. So Finance Factory does charge fees on their startup LLC business loans. Very important to know, okay? And so we love this Finance Factory because they can get you funded with no business history or established revenue, as long as you just have one of the three C's: credit, cash flow, or collateral. Okay. And the cool thing is, so if you are looking for a startup LLC business loan for a large amount, Finance Factory is just fantastic. So here are the pros and cons in our view that you want to think about. So pros: it's available to new LLC startup business owners. They offer a wide constellation of funding products to support later stages of growth. Rate and term, you have rate and term transparency. Funds in 7 to 10 days on average. In some cases, they can actually give you the cash within 3 days. And we have a free funding range report. What about the cons? The ideal credit score should be at least 600 to 680, depending on the geography you're applying from, the state you're applying from. And there is, like, the business credit card option carries high interest when the 0% introductory period expires. Okay. So overall, when you think about the Finance Factory, this is kind of cool. If your startup LLC business doesn't yet have cash flow or collateral, Finance Factory may still get you financed if you have a personal credit score in the high 600s. Okay. And what we love also, we love the streamlined application process. Okay. You have the ability to speak to someone personally. You have the ability to answer all questions. The only thing is that if you or your business has any reported collections, judgments, liens, okay, late payments, or public records, you will most likely be disqualified. So please make sure that you have sorted out this part of your financial life. Okay, this is really important. But overall, this is a great player. We love him a lot. So Finance Factory, fantastic. Let me quickly review now Become. By the way, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to welcome you back again. Okay, it's just wonderful to have this every now and then. This sort of convos around startup LLC business loans, soft pull, no hard pull initially. So when you think about Become, if you are in the e-commerce space, this is actually the best lender for you. Now they do a lot of other stuff too, though. They actually cater to all kinds of industries. But if you have an e-commerce sort of affiliation, this will be really this lender will be interesting for you. So loan amounts maximum $500,000. The loan terms 3 to 6 months. You can see here that we have a short repayment window. Okay, they're not going to give you, like, Become is not going to give you a 5 year loan term here. No, they're giving you 3 to 6 months. Okay, so if you are a startup LLC and you are looking for 3 to 6 months, you better be sure that you will have the necessary budgetary bandwidth to repay the loan. Okay, and so qualified loan applicants can get funding in as little as 24 hours. Okay, so here are the pros and cons of Become when it comes to a startup LLC business lender. So the pros: well, they actually have something called lending score. So they have a tailored dashboard that helps you improve your fundability, which is really good if you're an LLC startup business. Okay, there is one online application. There is no charge to apply. They're not actually charging you as the Finance Factory is, for example. And you might get your funds in as little as 24 hours. This is really good. What are the cons here? Limited funding amounts of 250 to $500,000, and a very short like very short loan terms of 3 to 6 months. In our view, this is really like the deal breaker here because for a startup, 3 to 6 months is nothing. I mean, you really, it really needs, but again, it is what it is. And what we love about like Become is that basically they have a proprietary data driven tool. It's called the landing score that basically connects your online store to your marketing platforms and creates a dashboard of your metrics so you can see how lenders see you. Okay, this is why originally I was just telling you, if you're in the e-commerce sector, this could be a great lender for you. Okay, and one thing I also want to say here is that overall Become has actually become a wonderful operator in the last 3 years. It's just fantastic. I want to talk to you now about On Deck. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a comparative analysis of four players when it comes to startup LLC business loans, soft pull, no hard pull initially. So we are comparing and contrasting Finance Factory, Become, On Deck, and Seek Capital. So I just finished comparing and contrasting Finance Factory and Become. Now I want to talk about On Deck. So when you think about On Deck is really great for retail. So if you have a startup LLC business and you are in the retail sector, On Deck could be great for you. And their short-term loans oscillate. The loan amounts range from 5,000 to $250,000. And but the only thing is that this you have to repay it daily or weekly for 3 to 12 months. So again, we have a short repayment window here. So this could be a little problematic for your startup LLC business. But again, if this works for you, that's just fantastic. And the APR, so you have short-term loans that start at 35%, lines of credit start at 35.9%. You can see that On Deck is very expensive when it comes to startup LLC business funding. Okay, but so here are the pros and cons. The pros: funding within 3 days. We have seen in our experience they will fund you, like On Deck will fund you within 24 hours in some cases, and they do require a low minimum credit score, less paperwork than most lenders. Okay, and they also have a wonderful tool that they call it Smart Box Capital Comparison Tool that provides jargon-free cost transparency, so you have a clear idea what you're getting yourself into. This is really good. And in terms of the cons, you have financing that is not available in Nevada, North Dakota, and South Dakota. And this is not available to businesses in some industries. And 1 year in business is required, and they do require frequent repayments. So I've said before, daily or weekly. So you have to make sure this actually works for you. If it works for you, then it's fine. Okay. So overall, when you think about On Deck, I want you to think about a retail business. Okay, a lender that's really great for a startup LLC businesses in the retail industry, and there are some industries that are not eligible. Okay, so anything about adult entertainment, firearms, government and nonprofits, horoscope, fortune telling, lotteries, casinos, raffles, gaming and gambling, money services, businesses, religious and civic organizations, rooming and boarding houses. So you really have a few industries that are off limits for On Deck. Let me now talk about Seek Business Capital, our fourth player to this conversation. So when you think about Seek Capital, I want you to think about a lender that's really good when it comes to long-term repayment terms, okay? And on top of that, they were very generous. You were talking about up to $5 million, and even though typically we have seen that they actually can get you your startup LLC up to half a million. And the loan terms up to 25 years. Okay, the interest rate, you have prime rate plus 2.25% to 4.75%. And the process times can be actually 3 to 6 months. Okay, and one thing I want to say here is that you need to understand when I say the process time, it really depends on the loan amount. So if the loan amount is 5 million, sometimes Seek Capital is not going to release all funds at once. They will release funds in layers, okay, in phases. That's why I'm sorry. That's why I'm talking about 3 to 6 months. So if they have, let's say, if you qualify for a $1 million funding round, for example, Seek Capital might decide to actually Seek Business Capital might decide to release funds, let's say, in 3 phases, okay, or 6 phases. So once, like 100,000 every month, something like this. Okay, so here are the pros and cons of this lender. So pros: they have a wide network of third-party lenders that specialize in various financing solutions, and they have a proprietary lender matching technology, long-term and low risk with an SBA loan, and they are backed by several major investment firms. So what I'm trying to say here is that Seek Business Capital is not a direct lender. They are a loan marketplace. Okay, so for your startup LLC business, it's just fantastic. What are the cons here? So most loans, most SBA loans awarded to businesses, they're not awarded to businesses that are less than 6 months old. Okay, they have 20% to 30% capital contribution that is required for some SBA loans, and you must show profit and loss statement, balance sheet, and business plan. But again, if you're just looking for a startup LLC business loan, just a regular one, not an SBA one, you could be better. Okay, the thing I want to say here is that when we think about Seek Business Capital in general, they actually do a lot of lending. And that's what we love. We love the fact that they do a lot of lending. They offer a lot of lending options. So even if you're not interested in an SBA loan, you can still find your luck with Seek Business Capital, especially because they do have this wide network of third-party startup LLC business lenders that specialize in various financing solutions. Okay, not only for your LLC startup, but also for your LLC, for your established LLC business. So this is really good. So here you have it, a quick intro, a quick overview into the four players that we are analyzing today. But before I actually give you our decision, let me just quickly walk you through our thought process. It's really important to have a clear idea of the type of lender you're looking for. So how do you actually qualify for a startup LLC business loan? Well, the thing is that a lot of lenders want you to already earn revenue, have a base of customers, and provide an annual financial reports covering 6 to 12 months. But what if you don't have that? If you don't have that, then what you want to do, you want to have a business plan. Okay, you need to have. See, when I talk about business plan, I'm not talking about any kind of like low quality business plan. I'm speaking about an actual business plan. Okay, a real business plan. This is really important. And so on top of that, you want to have a set of financial statements. And obviously, if you're a startup LLC business, you don't have actual data because you haven't built the operational history required to have actual data yet. So you will have estimated financials. You will have projected financials. Okay, you will have forecasted financials. And it's not really hard to get a startup LLC business loan. It's not. If you follow our strategy, if you follow our formula for success, if you follow the logic that we have actually laid out in this show and in other shows, you'll be able to get your loan in no time. Okay, and I just want to say that some banks actually will lend to startup LLC businesses. Yes, yes. Don't you think the bank could see there is a myth that actually going around here. People believe that if you are a startup LLC business, you're not going to get a loan from a bank or a credit union. That's far from the truth. That's really far from the truth. You can actually get a startup LLC business loan with no money down. If you're going for a collateralized loan like an equipment financing loan, for example, it's all about relationships. Actually, everything comes down to relationships. Everything comes down to how you actually apply. It's not about just like, yeah, I want to apply for this specific loan and whatnot. No, it's all about the decision that you have made to apply and how you go about it. This is really important. There has to be a process you follow, and you need to follow this process consistently. Let's go into the decision process here. So startup LLC business loan, soft pull, no hard pull initially. So Finance Factory, Become, On Deck, Seek Business Capital. Which one should you go after? This is an important element. And the thing is that I'm going to give you a few pointers to help you decide which lender is good for your startup LLC business. The first thing I want you to think about is your needs, your financing needs. What kind of financing do you need? Okay, when we talk about startup LLC business loan, remember you have a variety of loan types. You have a variety of loans. You have a loan typology you need to pay attention to. So that loan typology is really important in terms of helping you not only find the loan that you need, the loan that your startup LLC needs right now, but the loan you will need in the future. Because remember, you want to also be able to repay the loan. Okay, some lenders ask you for like a very short repayment window. So the question is, can you afford that? Okay, you want to evaluate your credentials. By credentials, I'm talking about your personal credit, if that's needed, your business financial position right now. Okay, your business credit score also, because you could be a startup but already have a business credit score. Okay, so what really applies to you, and what you want to do is you want to constantly research and compare lenders. Don't you go for the first lender that comes to you. No, don't accept. And above everything you do, you want to favor the soft pull, no hard pull initially route. As I said at the beginning of this show, a very quintessential step here is to always preserve your personal credit score. And how do you preserve your score? You want to always go for a soft pull process, at least at first, right? That's why we said no hard pull initially. In other words, the lender ultimately is going to hard pull your credit anyway, but not at the beginning, not during the preliminary phases. During the preliminary phase, where you're just walking around, window shopping, so to speak, when it comes to startup LLC business loans, you want a lender that will give you the opportunity and the possibility to actually have a soft pull, not a hard pull. Okay, this is what I want you to focus on, and I want you to think about it systematically and reflexively. And another thing I want you to think about when thinking about choosing your startup LLC business loan, soft pull, no hard pull initially, at least when you have to make a decision as to whether you should go with a finance factory or you should go with Become or On Deck or Seek Business Capital, I want you to think about the documents you need to gather before actually applying. And you want to some lenders are like really, really flexible. Like they'll let you know, like, we just need 3 or 4 pieces of documentation. Whereas other lenders are very thorough. They want to have everything. They want to have every single thing. But usually what we have found is that lenders who want to have more information about your business are generally the most generous ones. Okay, they're the one who are going to fund your startup LLC like in hundreds of thousands of dollars. But those lenders who only ask a few pieces of information, they probably just give you 100,000, or they probably give you like 25 grand or 50 grand or whatever. So those are really important elements. And when we talk about the business loan application for your startup LLC, you also need to think about things like your basic information about you and your business licenses or formation documents. Okay, your articles of organization. If we're speaking about startup LLC, we're talking about your articles of organization. If you have been in business for less than a year and you have actually filed a tax return the preceding year, you want to attach your Form 1065 along with all the relevant schedules K1. This is important. You also want to show your personal tax returns, so that you want to see how the information on your Form 1065 ties into your information on Schedule C or Form 1040. So those are really important elements I want you to really think about. And you also want to think about your financial statements. Again, as I said, if you are a new business, you have no actual data yet. So we're speaking about financial projections. We are talking about estimated financial data, right? Forecasted financial data. Nothing really actual yet. Nothing concrete. Okay, and so things like cash flow projections. And when we talk about financial forecast, we're speaking about forecasted balance sheets. We're speaking about forecasted profit and loss statement. We're talking about forecasted owner's equity statements. Okay, and you want to review your options. Just review your options. You want to write down, obviously what you want to do, you want to have, as you analyze all the criteria I just gave you, you want to write down on a piece of paper, you want to write down what the finance factory qualifies, like where they are strong, where they're not that strong. You do the same for Become, do the same for On Deck, do the same for Seek Business Capital. So you'll really have a clear idea in the end of what business lender for your startup LLC business loan is the best. So here is a winner for you. So after comparing and contrasting Finance Factory, Become, On Deck, and Seek Business Capital, we believe our favorite is Seek Business Capital. Our score 9.8 over 10. Okay, so this is the recap here. So Seek Business Capital 9.8 over 10, Finance Factory 9.5 over 10, Become 8.9 over 10, and On Deck 8.6 over 10. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.